What if I would tell you that you are an addict? Because you eat food. Because that's how it truly is. Now, let me drop the bomb on addiction here, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there judging other people for their addictions. And I just want to clarify that anything can be an addiction and that everyone is addicted and they're all addicted to food. We're all addicted to food. We can't survive without it. If we don't eat it, we get sort of a come down. We get we get less energy. We get brain fog. We get angry, upset. We can't think clearly. And when we refill our dose with food, we then again gain our powers to act in the world and complete our daily tasks. So some people, they use substances to also complete their daily tasks, and then in my view, it's I'm looking on these substances as food, right? So I don't see the difference between certain drugs and food. To me, I'm mainly talking about the substances that I use, which is psychedelics and cannabis. And cannabis is sometimes viewed as sort of a psychedelic too, but anyways, in my opinion, they're a little bit different. So cannabis and psychedelics is what I use. I don't use it on a daily basis. I use it a few times every week, or like right now I'm using it a few times every week, and at other occasions I'm using it less, and sometimes I'm using it even more. I've been using it every day in certain periods, and then I've had breaks for years. So like I do what feels right for me to do, in my spirit, in my soul, in my heart. I listen to my heart, and I do as my heart wants me to do and needs me to do. It's like a calling, right? So some people, they need to eat food 3 times a day and drink 3 cups of coffee to complete their daily tasks. And I'm not eating food 3 times per day. I'm eating food once per day, and then I'm having maybe a banana or an apple and some nuts as some snacks in between. But I'm eating 1 meal per day, and then I rarely drink coffee, and I drink coffee sometimes, like very very rarely, like once a month or once every second month, because I like the taste of coffee, but my stomach doesn't really like coffee too much, so I just keep it to rare occasions. I drink chai tea and different kinds of herbal teas and green teas and tea with caffeine. I use it also, like black tea, not on a daily basis, but more often than I drink coffee. And then I use psychedelic substances and weed, cannabis. And some people tend to look upon me and others that use these substances as they are some danger to society and a danger to humankind and this planet, not seeing how much they fuck up this planet and how they are actually a danger. For example, people are not very aware of how they're treating this earth, yet they go around and point fingers on other people that use psychedelic substances for healing purposes. which I think it's very strange. Although I understand where they're coming from, and there has been this um, or there was this war on drugs that started in America in the 1940s or 50s or something like that, or 60s. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not completely sure about this, but I know that this affected the whole world in our view on drugs. So before the 1950s or something like that, pretty much all substances were legal everywhere, and we had no rules really about this. And then yeah, as this war on drugs came, because there was the Vietnam War and all the hippies in America wanted to have peace and love in the world. You know, it's such a danger to want peace and love and not war. But of course, you know, the American government, they wanted the war, and they want the troops and the military and the soldiers, and we have to like make our people under control, and if there is peace and love in the world, then we don't have any soldiers and we can't fight our wars. So you know, of course they had to shut this down, and obviously for other reasons too, like these hippies maybe went a little bit too far out and crazy with their peace and love campaigns, and it wasn't very grounded, and a lot of people were crazy, and that's a fact. Like, I'm not trying to defend the hippies here in any way, although I consider myself as a sort of hippie. I'm not really a hippie as back in the 60s, but you know, like, I might look a little bit hippie, which is totally fine. But I totally agree that the hippies in the 60s maybe went a little bit too far out and crazy, and they weren't very grounded, and most of them didn't really know what they were doing, and a lot of crazy stuff happened, although they were just like these kids or adults that wanted peace and love and harmony in the world. So anyways, this is the reason why psychedelic substances are illegal today, because of this war on drugs, a war on peace and love, pretty much, because that's what they were promoting: peace and love, stop the war in Vietnam, shut up, now we do a war on drugs too, because we cannot have peace and love in this world. So then obviously they made all these propaganda news things, and the whole world got manipulated into believing that this propaganda is true, and they did a very good job. Like, we can high five them on that, you know, like, great job, well done, you managed to manipulate the whole population of planet Earth pretty much, and create these very strange laws against nature. So now it's the time to change our perspective on this matter, and to see the truth, and to see that making nature illegal is a very strange thing to do, especially when these plants that we are making illegal are actually food. Right? So now we're coming back to the food again. It's, in my perspective, food, because what do we eat? We eat nature, right? Even if we're not vegan, if we're eating animals, we're still eating nature, right? I'm a vegan, or I'm a vegetarian, and therefore I eat plants, right? And I drink milk sometimes, and eat cheese and eggs sometimes, but mostly my diet is fruits, veggies, nuts, and bread and mushrooms. I love mushrooms, all kinds of mushrooms, right? Oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, chanterelles, and yeah, I guess those are my main mushrooms. I love lion's mane mushroom too, it's a very good one. And then obviously, like, these are edible mushrooms that I cook with in my food. And then we come to the psychedelic ones, like the psilocybin mushrooms, which is to me also a food for the spirit. And as many other foods are also foods for the spirit. If you look at it from an Ayurvedic perspective, for example, in India they're using all sorts of um, plants as a part of their diet, and the diet is a medicine. So all the food that they eat is medicine, and therefore psilocybin mushrooms, in my perspective, is also a food medicine. And it's not like, and the same with any other food. If you eat it too much, it's not good for you. If you're eating too much, you get certain diseases and sicknesses. Even if you're eating a diet, even if you're eating a balanced diet and you're overeating the balanced diet, it's not balanced anymore, right? So then you're gonna get some sort of disease from this, or sickness, or some sort of defect in your body will happen if you're overdoing anything. So therefore, psychedelics are not to be used on a daily basis, or they're not to be used on a daily basis in large doses. They can be used on a daily basis in microdoses or smaller doses in periods of your life, not for your whole life, but in periods in your life you can use them every day in smaller doses, if you are the right patient for this medicine. And as with any other food and medicine, it's not for all patients, right? Every patient, every person has their own path to walk, and every medicine is not suitable for every person. Every diet is not suitable for every person. Every person needs a little bit different. Everyone, because we're all made a little bit different. We're all unique individual beings of magic. We're all these miraculous beings that exist here, and we're all unique. So we all need a unique diet, and we all need to live our lives uniquely. We can't just listen to advice from other people and live our lives according to how other people are living their lives. We have to find our own path and find out what works best for us. And for me, psychedelics work, and I use them as a food medicine. It's part of my diet, and yeah, you know, I'm addicted to food, just like you, just like everybody is addicted to food, if you want to choose to look at it from that perspective. Because I'm just sick of hearing this term, like addiction, and like, oh, you're addicted to drugs, and you're addicted to this, and like, yeah, okay, but like, of course, like, everyone is addicted to everything, really. Like, we're addicted to experience, we're addicted to being alive, and we're addicted to dying also. We're addicted to the whole process of life beginning and ending and going on and on and on. And we're addicted to creating, and we're addicted to status, and we're addicted to feeling good. We're addicted to feeling bad also. We're addicted to everything. Like, everything is an addiction. So stop saying that just because I'm using some plants every now and then, I'm addicted to it and it's a danger for society and for myself and everybody in my environment. Not at all. Like, these substances and foods are just simply foods. And some foods are more spiritual foods, so I use psychedelics for spiritual purposes. I don't use them, or I very rarely use them for other purpose than to deepen my wisdom and go inside myself. I almost always use them alone, and I use them as for meditation purposes, and I have a deep practice when I use these substances, and the practice is not always the same. It looks different every time, but I have like a set of how I set intentions before I use these things, and I always have the intention to go within myself and to explore my consciousness and to explore um, uh, different dimensions and planes of existence within myself. And I'm not using them to go out in a party, or it happens every now and then that I do use them for going out to a party or hanging out with friends, but it's not really something that I prefer to do. But it do happen every now and then, rarely. But and then I do it I do it in smaller doses, and just to like open up a little bit all the channels and to connect more with the people and the community, and let loose a little bit and dance more fluidly, just as people drink a beer when they go to party, or they drink a glass of wine, or they drink, you know, alcohol, or take some other substance at a party. I prefer to use psychedelics. When I go dancing, I like to take not a big dose, just a little bit. Not a micro dose either, but something between a micro dose and a small dose. Just a small dose, right? That's enough to just let loose, not to have any hallucinations or any deep visual experiences or any like deep meditative states of consciousness, right? I don't want to go into that while I'm in a party. I just want to dance and enjoy it. So then I use it for that purpose. But if I use it as I normally use it, I use it alone, and I use it with the intention to deepen my connection with source and spirit, because we are spiritual beings manifest in physical form, and everything physical is spiritual, and as above so below. There's not really, you know, it's like two sides of the same coin. So anyways, what I'm trying to say in this video is that we need to open up our minds, our perspectives about these substances, and not point our fingers on others and judge them for what they're doing, because you cannot tell me what's best for me and what's right for me, and I cannot tell you what's best for you and right for you. Everyone has their own unique path and their own unique experience of life, and that's the beauty of everything. It makes it way more interesting. So appreciate that, have gratitude for that, and be one with that. I also would like to add to this that the greatest medicine of all medicines and the greatest food of all foods is love. And my greatest addiction is love. I believe, and I think, and I promote love. If I promote anything, I promote love. And I'm not promoting any substances. I'm not promoting any sort of lifestyle. I'm not promoting anything else than love. And this love is within you, and it's within me, and it's within everything. This love binds everything together and connects us and brings harmony into this world. So, with that said, I hope that you love yourself without conditions, and that you are connected and in harmony with life. And if you are not connected and not in harmony with life, go out in nature. Listen to nature as it unfolds. Listen to the birds. Listen to the wind, to the trees blowing in the wind, to the water flowing in rivers or the ocean waves coming on shore. Go out and spend time in nature and reconnect and reattune with your natural state of being, which is unaffected, and find some love. Stop judging others and love them. Have compassion, understanding for others. No one is like you. Only you is like you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.